thank you very much for the introduction. Until a few days ago, I would have thought being introduced as the president of Milwaukee Rescue Mission, it would be pretty self-evident where I'm from. Except a few days ago, my wife and I, we were in the Apple store, and my wife was looking for a new computer. We're talking to our customer service rep. We're talking about what we do and our association with Milwaukee Rescue Mission. And he asks me, what city are you located in? And I wanted to lean over to Barb and say, are you sure you want a Mac, Barb? You know? But I am from Milwaukee. And Milwaukee is, I think, a remarkably beautiful city. And if you ever get a chance to come visit us, we would love to have you there. We enjoy a local culture that is built on a rich heritage from people all over the world. But like every other major American city, Milwaukee, we face some very serious challenges. Nearly half of our children grow up in poverty. Zip code 53206, a neighborhood on the north side of Milwaukee, has the highest adult incarceration rate by zip code in the entire United States. And in the last 40 years, unemployment among African American men has gone up from 26% to 56% in Milwaukee. In 2016, our city suffered 140 murders and an additional 600 victims of non-fatal gun violence. Poverty, crime, violence, when you look at the raw statistics, it seems overwhelming and maybe even hopeless unless you're able to look beyond those numbers and see the faces, and unless you're able to begin to confront the problems, not of brokenness for an entire city, but for just one individual, for one neighbor. And that's what we do at Milwaukee Rescue Mission. We see our neighbors. And so I'd like to introduce you to three of them.
Everything in my life was broken. The relationship with my kids, my finances was broken. You know, it was getting tougher and tougher. It got so bad to the point where I knew how I could get money. The same reason that I got sent to jail in the first time, and that was selling drugs.
Before I came to Joy House, my life was broken, physically being abused. I was using cocaine. I drank. That shattered everything. I was lost.
When I was 19, I got married. I had 3 children. I still continued to use drugs and do things behind my ex-wife's back that were detrimental to our relationship, I would say, ultimately, and that led to our divorce, which led to me crashing and hitting rock bottom and ending up in jail and losing rights to my kids and losing all of my belongings.
So in that short video segment, you began to hear the stories of Harold and Don and Marion and the brokenness of their lives. They came to us with really profound needs, immediate needs, and we were able to help them. We gave them the basics, a good meal, warm clothing, safe shelter. But in order to really repair brokenness, it's important it's essential to go beyond, the basics. I heard a colleague recently say, people are not homeless because they run out of money. They're homeless because they run out of community. Milwaukee Rescue Mission, as a Christian ministry, we find our center in relationship, in community. A restored relationship and a revived relationship with God, which necessarily leads to healthy human relationships. That's what we do. We rebuild community. We help people like Harold and Don and Marion find their way again and rebuild from where they were. Let me start with Harold and Don. Harold, when he came to us, he had the need to find a more productive, a healthier, frankly, a legal way of earning a living. And Don, coming out of prison, really came out of prison with just the clothes on his back, no resources, nobody willing to hire him. So Don and Harold both joined our New Journey program. This is a program we're really excited about. It's our intensive, dynamic, year-long residential program serving at any given time 25 to 30 men. And our case managers really dig deep with these guys and begin to find out what it is that they need to rebuild the brokenness and really thrive in their lives. For Harold and Don, we were not only able to help them find a job, but we were really able to help them find a calling and learn how God had gifted them, and that those gifts were to help them provide for themselves and their families, but also to provide or to give back to the community. 100% of the graduates of our New Journey program find meaningful employment within 30 days of graduation. And between 70 and 80% of the graduates of all of our residential programs remain sober, employed, and in permanent stable housing more than a year after they leave Milwaukee Rescue Mission. Now let me tell you a little bit about my friend Marion. When Marion came to us, like she said in the little video segment, her life was really shattered. In fact, she's standing in the alley where her teenage son had been murdered. And that murder led not really unexpectedly, led to drug abuse by her and her husband. That drug abuse led to abuse of each other by her and her husband, and their family just collapsed. They lost their home, they lost their business, and Marion ended up on the streets with her two youngest children and no resources and nowhere to go. And she came to us. And we were able to help her, but we were also able not only to provide what she needed, but to provide a safe place for her and her children so she knew that they were cared for. And also the space and the time for her to deal with the pain and the brokenness, and also to begin to confront the addiction. While in Joy House, and Joy House is our program for single mothers and children, families are nurtured. Children are lovingly cared for so that the moms can attend classes, can meet one-on-one with their case managers, and then in that partnership, moms with the case managers begin to come up with their own plan to leave Joy House, figure out what resources they need so that they can go back into the community and provide for themselves and their families. Marion, with the counseling, the education, the help, the empathy that she received in Joy House, she was able to really find hope and purpose. And now Marion is back in the community, a transformed woman, and contributing to the community again. And really, when you think about it, that's what it comes down to. It is rebuilding community. And when you think about one life at a time, and these single stories of transformation, you start to put them together, then what you're doing is you're rebuilding community, and you're rebuilding transformed community. I'm delighted to tell you, recently we've been able to vastly expand our ability to serve families that are challenged. We've acquired a whole new campus for Milwaukee Rescue Mission. We call it North Campus. And on this campus, we have a Christian school called Cross Trainers Academy, serving 260 students. In the next 6 years, it'll expand to 500 students, including a vocational high school. And our model is we want to serve these students, of course, but we also want to serve their families. Also on this campus, We have a very highly regarded daycare for the families. So kind of our line is cradle to career. That's what we want to do up there on the North Campus. And these institutions are the anchor for comprehensive programming in that very challenged neighborhood that's located in zip code 53206. Because of the generosity of so many friends and because of the dedication and passion of our staff and volunteers, there's hope. People like Harold and like Don and like Marion can find the help, can find the community to make something beautiful out of brokenness. And to finish telling the story of Milwaukee Rescue Mission, I can't think of a better way to do that than let these three neighbors finish telling you their story.
I own my own home. My children are all grown up. We have a dog, we have a cat. I was allowed to go back to school and reinvent myself, so I was able to get a director's certificate in child care.
Since being at the mission, I feel like I've been restored back to life. I have courage and I have strength, and it doesn't matter what my past was. Now, as long as I know who I am in Jesus Christ.
Now I have enough finances to where I can afford to live and be self-sufficient. I don't have to depend on a government phone or food stamps or anything like that. So God took that old Harold and he shaped him and formed him into that new creation that's in Christ. It's through the Milwaukee Rescue Mission that my restoration began.